Welcome to Cigar City Radio, episode number 45. I'm your host, Randy Ojeda, fresh from Chicago and Lollapalooza weekend. What a crazy place to be for a few days. And making the magic happen, Mr. Jason Solanas.
Hey, Randy, what do you get when you combine beer and whiskey?
Bisky? Oh, man. I walked right into that one. So if you didn't know, our friends at Creative Loafing do a yearly Best of the Bay Awards, which honors local restaurants, musicians, politicians, you name it, and determine who is the best of the Bay. And it is entirely user voted. So if you go to Creative Loafing Tampa, you can vote for the Best of the Bay Awards. We've actually been nominated for several awards. At Cigar City MGMT was nominated for Best Local Instagrammer. The Cigar City Radio Show was nominated for Best Local Podcast and Best Local Internet Radio Show. And I myself, for some odd reason, was nominated for Best CEO and Best Local Personality to follow on Twitter at Real Randy Ojeda. So all of those are under the People, Places, Politics category. So if you head to cltampa.com/BOTB 2017, you can vote for us. We'd really appreciate it. The polls will be open through August 23rd, and they're going to be announcing the winners September 27th at the Mahaffey Theater in St. Pete. So again, head to cltampa.com/BOTB 2017. Vote for Cigar City Radio for Best Local Podcast, Best Local Internet Radio Show, and at Cigar City MGMT for Best Local Instagrammer. If you want to vote for me for Best CEO, that's cool too. Thanks. On this week's episode, we dig into our South by Southwest archive to bring you a chat with tampon-turned-Austinite Maxx Forman. Max is a producer, audio engineer, songwriter, and photographer who received his degree from Full Sail University, worked at one of the top recording studios in Tampa, and is now living and thriving in Austin, Texas. Isn't that right, Jason?
That's right, Randy.
Max joined us during South by Southwest earlier in the year, and we're stoked to finally be able to share this conversation with you. He's a really cool dude. Look him up online at maxxforman.com. That's MAXXFORMAN.com. So here it is, episode number 45.
Now in the Austin. How's it going, Max?
It's going all right, man. It's been quite a busy week so far at South by, as you can tell by my wrists.
I can see that. What you seen so far that you like?
I saw Cut Chemist performed. He DJ'd and Micah 9 from the Freestyle Fellowship.
Yeah.
Freestyled for like an hour straight. It was like incredible.
Right on, man.
I was like freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
so
good.
Is there no calling outside of Austin right now for the work that you do?
Well, when we originally connected, I was in Tampa at the time when you had messaged me.
All right.
Because when I lived there, I worked at a recording studio.
Yeah.
And now that I'm out here, all my clients are like, they beg me to come back. They're like, please, Max, we need you. We need you.
The Red Room again.
So I'm like, maybe once every month or two, I'm back in Tampa for like a week or so, and I work out there.
I see that on Instagram.
Yeah. I'm in LA here and there, Atlanta here and there.
So what music do you predominantly produce?
Mostly, I would say like 80% hip hop.
Right on.
And then like everything else would be like pop,
Yeah.
R&B, like top 40 stuff.
What got you specifically into hip hop? Is that where the industry led you? Or?
Kind of. I mean, I grew up on like that kind of stuff. I think my first CD, or it was a CD, geez, it was a tape at the time that I ever bought was Black Rob's Whoa.
Right on.
You guys remember that song?
Yeah.
That's a good one. I bought that single cassette. That was like the first thing I ever bought with my own money. So I've been kind of like a hip hop dude for most of it. I mean, I've had my phases here and there, but
Yeah. My first actually, it was a CD single.
but my first single was Bone Thugs and Harmony's Crossroads
Nice.
on CD single.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah, yeah. My mom mistakenly got me the explicit version. Luckily, it's not that explicit of a track, but, you know, it was a good one.
Yeah.
My first hip hop one was the Marshall Mathers LP, and it was totally the explicit version. I bought it from my brother and said, "Fuck that, I'm keeping it." After I heard it,
You know what's crazy is I drove to Tampa and drove back to come back for South by, and I listened to Marshall Mathers LP front to back on the drive back. I was like, what is something that I haven't heard in a really long time that's good front to
Yeah.
back? And I was like, you know what, this is the one
that's a once in 2 years event for me.
for sure.
Yeah.
It's a good refresh to hear
Yeah,
it again,
man.
you know.
You were saying that hip hop is kind of how you got started going.
And it's funny actually too, because I believe you know Taylor Dumont as well.
Oh, Taylor, yeah,
Taylor,
dude,
yeah.
Taylor.
So-
I don't know his last name. You said that. I was
Yes,
like, what the
Taylor
fuck
Dumont.
is that?
Well, I know him more as B Popes because he is also a hip hop artist. I don't know if you
No,
knew
I
that
had
either.
no fucking idea.
So I've known that kid since I was like 9 years old.
Yeah.
His mom and my mom are like such good friends. So we went to college together in Orlando, me and Taylor, and we like kind of started this little hip hop group, me and him and a third friend. And so like that was kind of like my start into it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was going to audio recording school at the time, so I was like already making my way into that industry. And since then, like I've just been, it started off as me being an artist. And then after I finished school, I like kind of like chilled out on the songwriting and I started doing like literally everything else. So I'm an audio engineer, I'm a video director, I'm a graphic designer, a creative director, I'm
Holy
a songwriter, I'm a photographer.
So you are involved in the arts.
Like,
you have
yes.
yourself elbow
I can
deep
pretty
into the
much-
arts. Yeah.
If I can't do it, I can get it done. That's like my thing.
That's your motto.
That's fucking badass, dude. Awesome.
So you mentioned earlier that you're working with some artists that are here at South by Southwest. Who have you been working with here?
Mostly an artist by the name of Kat Graham,
Okay.
who most people probably know her because she's an actress. But even before that, she went to recording school just like me, and she's written music with like Babyface. Her and her like right-hand man songwriter, like the dude that she works with now, like he recorded like Tupac and like the Beastie Boys and like so he's like legendary in the recording and like songwriting game. But she was on the Vampire Diaries, so that's like when I say Kat Graham, they're like, oh, the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
But like she, now that the show's over, she's like diving into the music thing like real big. So she's here. She's done 3 shows so far and hosted the Pandora stage, and she's got 2 more shows this weekend. So I've kind of just been like rolling with her for the most part. And
It's
I'm
a cool
also
place to roll.
Oh,
man.
for sure. Especially with someone like her, because we get treated like kings.
Yeah, I can
A
imagine.
lot of green rooms and free booze.
Yeah.
And I'm also working with a guy named King Tucka, who is an Austin local that I met up with probably like 4 months ago or so. And I'm kind of like, I'm doing a lot of his recording and mixing and mastering, a lot of his audio stuff, but I'm also kind of like, I guess I'm kind of his manager now, which is cool. I mean, that's one of the things, like when I say if I can't do it, I get it done. Management is usually something that I pass on because I'm like, I like the creative side of it. And when I try to mix the business and management thing, it just kind of like, I get to like, you know, I get flustered. So, but this is like kind of my first management gig, but I like it because he's a young guy he's got like a little buzz picking up locally, and online he's got a pretty big following now. So he's kind of growing, and I can like grow that with him.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
cool. So he's performing Saturday on 6th Street. There's like 800 people performing, so you should check it out. It is at Burnside Tavern on 6th Street,
Right on.
Austin, Texas.
Yeah. What brought you to Austin?
Well, I grew up in Tampa, so like I kind of got, I wouldn't say sick of it, but I was like, you know, it's been almost 30 years I've been living in the same city. Like it's time to get out. And this was my first opportunity. I got hired to do a video gig for Kat Graham, and I got flown out here, and I made some background videos for one of her shows that like they project on the wall behind her. So I got that gig, and then I got a few more gigs where I kept getting flown out here. And by like the 3rd time, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna move out here. It's so cool.
It's so cool.
I mean, first of all, the barbecue here was probably what brought me here.
Yeah.
The barbecue and the food, just like the food and I mean, there's so much music here. It's like we were like me and Jason were saying, it's kind of like a really big Ybor city. Like there's a lot of culture and a lot of art, a lot of music. And I mean, when I lived in Tampa, I lived in North Tampa, so it's like McDonald's, Wendy's, Publix. Like there was
strip
no,
mall, everything.
there wasn't any like
culture.
culture.
There's nothing to bite into when you go out with your friends.
Exactly, for sure. So I really like it here. It's been like 2.5 years, and I'm still settling in. I'm still like I've never been here before. So
Yeah.
I just learned of a new place that I'll definitely be coming back to, hang out with the kiddies.
Yeah, right.
It's a cool thing. This one has been my little engineering.
Your assistant?
Yeah.
Yeah. That cat
She's
is
been
not
telling
moved.
me, no, that's the wrong fucking knob. Stop touching it. Stuff like that. And I'm listening, and she's right every time.
Yeah, but yeah, and, this is both of our first time in Austin.
Yeah.
And we're just amazed at like the amount of weird stuff. Like, and I use weird in the best way possible.
no,
just
for
like
sure.
Yeah.
really unique, interesting places that
Please
you
keep
wouldn't-
it weird.
Yeah, that you wouldn't
Yeah.
normally see in other cities.
For sure.
And yeah, you can't throw a brick without running into a food truck.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely, which
yeah.
is awesome.
yeah.
That's,
absolutely fantastic.
There's actually a food truck here called Cafe Ybor, and they have Cuban sandwiches.
You are fucking with me.
No
I
right
way.
swear to you.
Dude. We
Are they
have to
good?
It's
go to
called.
that.
It's I haven't been yet, and I think I haven't been because I'm scared. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
If it's not good, I'm gonna be very upset. So I've kind of been holding off. Plus, it's like way north of here, and I live on the south side. And the thing about Austin is that it's divided by downtown, right? So if you live south of downtown,
Yeah.
north of downtown is like no man's land. Like I don't go north of downtown.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
too far, and I'm like, I'm a south sider.
You're
so-
segregating yourself.
Yeah, I'm staying
Yeah.
on the south side of the river.
Yeah. I understand that, and if I was French, I wouldn't come to the United States to eat French food.
Exactly.
I'd eat whatever the fuck was there.
Yeah,
for
sure.
But I still want to know. I'm gonna look up reviews now.
Yeah,
like
you
we-
should check it out.
We did go to a coffee house the other day that had a Cuban sandwich on the menu, but it like the first thing was French bread, and I'm like, nah, man,
Like, no,
that's
dude,
not a Cuban.
Is baguette Cuban? No, you're doing it wrong.
You
Yeah,
can't
totally
tell
wrong.
someone from Florida what a Cuban sandwich is.
Well, you can't bake Cuban bread anywhere but Florida. So like
True.
you can try
Yeah,
all
good
you
point.
fucking want.
Yeah,
It's just gonna taste dumb.
it's about the air, man, and the humidity. It's the key. So what else have you been working on lately?
I've been working a lot with Taylor B Popes. That's what it's funny because I'm like I grew up calling him Taylor, and then when he turned into B Popes, that's all I call him.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird thing.
Well, I've heard a few people call him that. I just didn't know what the fuck.
You didn't
they were
know where
saying.
it stemmed
I have
from.
No idea what that
yeah.
meant.
So he's you guys like Action Bronson?
Absolutely
Okay.
love Action Bronson.
If you listen to Taylor's music, it's very similar to. I would put him like in the Action Bronson, Eminem, like kind of like shock humor comedy.
Yeah.
Like it's really like when you listen to it, you're like, oh my god, this dude is crazy, out of his mind.
Good.
But I work a lot with him. Like I wouldn't say produce because I didn't make the beats, but I'm like, his engineer / producer. So I've worked on his last like 2 or 3 projects. I work a lot with him. I do like all his videos, his design, kind of like his like Swiss Army knife,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of Tampa clients that I work with. I do a lot of recording and mixing for like, I would say my client circle is like probably in the 80s or 90s.
Holy shit. Dude.
So I have like a lot of clients.
That's a
and
good
I,
base.
I mix a lot of music.
Do you mix a lot of music when you're on the road or when you're just not
Yeah,
in
I have
Tampa?
it right here on my handy little laptop.
What is your favorite sharing service? Is it Dropbox?
Dropbox,
Drive? Right
for
on.
sure.
Yeah.
I started off with Google Drive because I'm like a Google guy. I have an Android, and I'm like,
Yeah.
everything is Google except for my computer because, MacBooks kind of like
They rock.
reign supreme.
That's the thing.
But yeah, Dropbox is my go-to for
Right
sure.
on. Cool.
I got that terabyte account, baby.
yeah. That's I'm amazed that you can mix on the road like that. I feel like it can be tough sometimes with like just headphones. Or
Yeah,
something,
I
but-
mean, it helps to have a treated room that
Yeah,
like what a mix should sound like. I surprisingly enough, I just plug in to my auxiliary in my car because that's my true test. At the end of a mix, I'm like, let's hear it in the car. So
Yeah.
if I sometimes I sit in my car and mix. I've done that a lot.
Well, the thing is, it's like if you know what your car should sound like, then
Exactly.
you know how to mix for it.
And I listen to a lot of music in my car, so I know what it
most
should
people
sound like
do
for sure.
you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing is like when we go into the studio, I always listen just with on the iPhone speakers, like just straight, because I know that so many people are going to listen to this mix just on their phone. Like,
Exactly.
unfortunately, that's the case,
sure.
But
No, you're right.
you have to make sure that it sounds good on all these devices, So. Or else you might have a mix that sounds amazing in your room with your monitors and your crazy sound treatment.
That's because your monitors
But
are
who's
nice.
listening to music on that?
Exactly.
Except other audio guys. Really.
Yeah. I feel like that's the true test of a good mix. Is like if you can hear it everywhere, it works. You know?
Yeah. Do you have any pointers for other producers that are trying to make it in the Tampa scene specifically that are up and coming? Because I'm meeting a lot more people now that are saying, "Oh yeah, I want to start producing hip hop, or I want to start recording people." And always like, "Yeah, man, that's great. I don't know what to tell you though. I wish I had."
Don't do
advice."
it. Run. Get away from it. No, I'm totally kidding. I would say don't get too caught up in getting traditionally trained for it. Even though I say that I went to audio school and got traditionally trained, but like YouTube University, man, I say that for anything. Seriously, go on YouTube and like just watch and sit around, find a good mentor and like whatever, run coffee for them, but at least learn something from them.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I learned most of my stuff from, like standing over someone's shoulder and I'm just like, what are you doing over there? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And then I just like, after you do that 100 times and you learn 100 things, then you kind of like start to know what you're doing. You know?
Yeah, and you try to do what they do, try to mimic that.
Yeah.
But I tell people that all the time especially with audio production, is like, just do it, you know, just try, you know, and it's probably going to be terrible the first time.
Listen, it will be. And mine was too at first. And like, eventually you start to polish it and it changes.
Yeah. The first thing I ever actually produced was this, and the first few episodes sound fucking horrendous. Like I have to go back and fix them. They're so bad, but I've learned, and I like to think it sounds all right now. So that's cool.
Yeah, well, that's the key. Is that you just keep doing it and
Mm-hmm.
keep doing it. And with anything in life, like you just have to go out there and
Yeah.
There's only so much, especially with audio. It's like there's only so much you can learn from school or from a book.
Yeah,
because you have to actually fucking make the audio. Like
I mean, listen, I went to Full Sail University, and that's like the god school of audio. I mean, along with like 2 or 3 others. And when I graduated, and my mixes still sounded terrible. Like that's not what I learned there. I didn't learn how to mix. I just learned what everything does, and like the logistics and the mechanics exactly. And then from there, like just run away. Don't do it. Don't do it. Nah, I'm kidding.
So do you think you're going to be in Austin for a while?
Yeah, I think so. It's good. I mean, I'm in LA a lot, and I'm in Tampa a lot, so I'm kind of like halfway in between those two right now.
Yeah.
So it's a good middle ground for me.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I'll be here for at least like another year or two. I don't know. I'm kind of like a nomad. Like I want to live everywhere. I want to skip around. I want to live in New York before I turn like 35.
Yeah.
Because after that, I don't want to live in New York.
You'll be too
After
old
that,
to
then
walk
I'll be
up
the
and down
old
the
guy in
steps.
New York City. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is home for me right now, so I dig it. I feel like
man.
everyone's really friendly here. I don't.
Yeah.
The cool thing about Austin is almost nobody is from here, so you're not like the new guy. Like, oh, he's not from Austin. Like, nobody else is. Everyone's from San Francisco or New York or whatever.
Or Tampa.
Or Tampa.
Yeah. Are there a lot? Have you met a lot of Tampa
I have
people?
I met these girls that went to USF.
Oh, right
they
on.
weren't from there, but they lived there for college, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh my God, we love USF and North Tampa and all this stuff." I'm like, "You do? You love North Tampa? Cool."
Yeah. I used to work with someone at King Corona named Sarah Ariana Farr that moved up here to be a beer rep, and she moved up here and dropped off the face of the planet because I think the city is just too good for her to be on the fucking internet anymore.
I mean, listen, I hate to say it, but I deleted my Facebook too since I moved here.
That seems to be a pretty common mentality.
It's cool. I mean, listen, not to get too like crazy political with the social media, but I'm so much more productive now that I don't have Facebook. Like I'm like kind of an Instagram whore, but beside that, like the no Facebook thing, I'm like super productive now. It's one less thing. I'm like on my phone. Like, checking. Dude, shout out to Ryan Webb.
Ryan Webb all day, every day.
He's a Pebble Creek legend, dude. Ask him about it.
I will ask him.
No, that dude is legendary. I'm telling you.
Listen.
Ryan Webb, I love you, man.
So I ask every guest, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. This is a terrible final thought. First of all, I'm just going to warn you. Follow me on Instagram at Maxx Forman. That's 2 X's, no E in Forman. That's confusing, so I'm going to spell it. That's MAXXFORMAN. Shout out to Cigar City and Ybor. That's like my old stomping grounds and the city that made me who I am.
Yeah, you got it right on your shirt right there. Cigar City, USA.
I had to rep. And also shout out to Debonair District for the show.